the stage is set for today's guests. First up, the man who's clocked up many a classical theatre performance, including playing King Lear 4 times, Uncle Vanya twice, as well as wowing us all with his navigational prowess on the canals of Great Britain. Timothy West, and with him a woman with her own love affair with the water, mainly off the Cornish coast. She's the Poldark star turned coroner, Beattie Edney. Welcome to you both. And you are familiar with one another. I was going to say two acting dynasties, really. The Wests and Sylvia Sims being your mum, born into an acting family. So.
Yeah, the last time I think I was interviewed on telly was when you interviewed us together.
Yeah, I remember that on Pebble Mill, yeah.
And we've got another connection with Tim's son, Sam West, who, during the lockdown, he did this thing called Pandemic Poems. It kept me working.
People chose a poem that they'd like read by him, or you read some poems.
I read a lot, and so did Emma Fielding, and then a few other actors too.
Yes, yeah.
Kept you all going. Well, Sam was a guest on this show a few weeks ago, so it's nice to work the way through the family, you know. So I remember many years ago, Tim, talking to you about, were you worried when Sam decided he wanted to be an actor? And I remember you saying to me, well, in the old days, being a bank manager was a safe job, but as that's not a safe job anymore, I don't mind him being an actor.
That's right, you know? Yeah, off you go. Yeah.
Was it the same with you and your mum then? Or did she discourage you from being an actress?
She actively discouraged me. I think she wanted me to be a doctor.
But you weren't put on?
I think I was, but I sort of fell into it. I was very lucky. I got a job before I left university. So, yeah, I just fell into it. I'm very lazy. Yeah. It seemed to be an easy thing to do.
Something to do if you're not going to use your brain very much,
But Tim, your dad was an actor, Lockwood West. I mean, did he encourage or discourage? Or
he didn't like the idea. No, I won't say he actually discouraged me, but he wasn't. He came to see all the amateur things that I did, and was not impressed at all. And I thought better if I just forget it.
Oh, really?
And for a time I did. I got opportunities, oddly enough, to go and join different reps as an ASM, and I said no. I think I'll just stick to being an amateur. Because I loved it. I loved it so much. Could have started in my career 3 years earlier if I'd really said, come on.
Yeah. But how lovely that you had, because a lot of professional actors must be really rather careful about talking about amateur dramatics. Because a degree of sniffiness about amateur dramatics, but it's where you start to learn your craft, isn't it, really?
Well, with big ones, you know. I was with a company which was run by the Brewers Association called the Taverners. And we did Shakespeare, we did Ibsen, Chekhov and so on, and we did them in pubs. And we were very good. We had to be good because they
let you know if you were.
Yeah, they would. It was hard work, but it was, as you said, you learned.
Yeah, do you remember, when did you cut your teeth, Beattie, acting-wise?
Yeah, I'm probably one of those people who's sort of snobby about it. I guess it's because I grew up with it, but so did you. So I felt that I didn't go to drama school. I went to university. I sort of had grown up on a film set, so I sort of thought it's a familiar world to me.
I didn't know anything about films at all. I mean, it was just theatre acting that I was involved in. It took a long time to even start to play a non-speaking part on television. It took me quite a long time. But got there in the end, I suppose.
You did get there in the end, yeah. Well, I mean, there was that amazing role as Edward VII, which catapulted you to the sort of top of the tree, really. Never forgotten that. Do you know, I've still got the book about them. There was a paperback produced with all the photographs of the production.
I remember
Edward
that.
VII.
Oh, that's right.
Well, I've still got it. I should have brought it in for you to sign.
It was actually an American production.
Was it?
Because, you know, it was taken to America. But they called it Edward the King.
Oh.
Because they don't like titles with numbers.
Yeah.
They think it's a sequel, don't they?
Yes. So it was Edward the King as opposed to Edward the Hairdresser.
Well, I remember Alan Bennett saying, you know, the madness of George III had to become the madness of King George.
That's right.
Because the Americans would have thought they'd missed the first 2 episodes.
Yes.
I remember my mum and Timothy worked together a really long time ago when you had the Shakespeare Company, the Prospect Theatre Company.
Yep.
And they did Much Ado, and also Dr. Johnson and Mrs. Thrale. And I must have been 8 years old, so we go back a long way. And I remember the production to this day. And now you're doing Gentleman Jack, which my mother did the last series of.
They're all intertwined, these acting families, you know. More of which later, more to come from BT and Timothy. 14 million viewers, which isn't hard to understand when you've these two giants of the stage and screen taking centre stage.
We pick up your dining room chairs after rehearsal tonight?
My dining room chairs?
Good, super. Look, now, here are the posters. You said it'd be all right if you put one up here.
Oh, yes, thank you.
And as you're on the spot, could you take some handbills round to the rest of the shops and make sure they put them up?
Oh, well, look,
It'll be all right.
Nigel-
There's no hurry, as long as they're up by the end of the afternoon.
Well, I am rather busy with these catalogues. I mean,
Yeah, well, as we always used to say at the BBC, love, never underestimate the value of publicity.
Nigel, I would be very grateful.
Here, Nigel, what do you say to this?
Perfect. Act 1, Algernon's flat in Half Moon Street. Couldn't be better.
What?
Just take that, Jim. I'll take that.
Two, three, that's it. Close the door. Yep, mind the cook.
Oh, I don't believe today's happening. Hello, Bygone Books. Oh, hello, Sandra.
You and your wife, Prunella Scales there. Great chemistry both on and off screen. What's it like watching that back? I mean,
I don't remember it at all.
I think you should have kept the costume, Tim.
I should have done, I know, yeah. I did love that show, actually, because it was about a lady who was recently widowed, so it isn't basically a very funny situation.
Yeah.
But it was wonderfully funny.
Simon Brett.
Simon Brett,
Yeah,
yes,
if I remember right. I got to, you know, much as I've known you for a long time, and Prue, but when did you meet? I don't think I ever remember. When did you meet one another?
We met in, I think, 51, something like that.
Yeah.
We met in a terrible play called She Died Young, subtitled by the cast and none too soon. and there was an electrician strike, which went on and on and on, and eventually the director came to us and said, "I'm terribly sorry, we are unable to record." "Oh, goodness," we said. Dear me. And we were left with an afternoon vacant. I said to Prue, "What do you want to do?" She said, "Well, let's go to the pictures." So we did, and that was it. Yeah.
That was it. Wonderful. I remember, I think it was at your silver wedding. You said, "We're celebrating 25 years together." We've actually only been together for about 7 of them because we're acting in different places.
Yeah.
But and then, as we were saying earlier, it was Edward VII that really catapulted you to national.
Well, I'd done
television.
quite a lot of television, very few films, but it's always been the theatre for me, really.
But to play Lear 4 times, I mean, apart from anything else, actually remembering that blinking role is a tour de force. Does it stick? When you've learnt it once, presumably it comes back more readily.
Yes, it does, but particularly Shakespeare. There's something about Shakespeare which because you can't not do it right.
Yeah.
It stays in your mind. In any play, even if you have never been in the play, you might have read it, but it stays with you.
Yeah, yeah. Those are memorable roles. I mean, from your point of view, favourite roles, it always seems to me, it's a bit of a silly question to ask an actor, but those of us in the audience are always wondering, which did he really like best? I mean, when you've been... Because it seems to me no actor is ever completely satisfied there with their performance, ever.
No, that's right.
But the ones that you got a kick out of?
Something that I loved is a show we did for Granada called Brass.
Oh, I remember that.
We did 3 seasons of it, and it was a big success in the north.
I remember being very impressed by your accent because
good.
you do a good northern accent.
It was a wonderfully funny show, and I'm sorry it hasn't been shown down here during COVID lockdown time.
But to catch up with it,
yes, but never mind.
The difference between doing Lear and then doing that vast, rapid turnaround on both Coronation Street and EastEnders, the culture shock there for an actor is pretty dramatic, isn't it? That fast turnover.
Well, you have to get used to that,
Yeah.
yes. That's one of the problems. It's good to feel that you're stepping from one light into another. You know?
What attracts you to a role? What makes you say yes, Tim, when you're offered a role?
I think if it's really well written,
Yeah.
I think if it's really going to attract people, it's important. If it's not going to attract anybody, but just you, it's a waste of time, really. do that in your bathroom.
You worked with two particularly fine actors in Last Tango in Halifax, Derek Jacobi
Yep.
and Anne Reid. Let's have a look at you working with those two. You were smiling right the way through that. I think to work with Derek Jacobi, the two of you together, two screen giants, if you like, there's a degree of pleasure in that, Timothy.
We've had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We did a play for Prospect, and we took it on tour, and it was called Staircase. It's by Charles Dyer, and it's about two camp hairdressers. And we loved doing it. We had such fun doing it. It was really wonderful. Yeah.
We've seen you recently in Gentleman Jack. Let's take a look. Most of the scenes set round a very large dinner table there.
Yes, yes.
So you get a good meal with it.
Yes. It is fun to do. It's well crafted. I think it's beautifully written.
But when you're sitting around a table like that, you've just got to be very careful what you eat and when you eat it.
Oh. You've got to remember that on that syllable, you had to crunch the celery on that actual syllable of the line, not just the line, the actual half the word.
And when they come round, do it again.
Don't go around and do it again. And because, of course, there are 8 of you sitting around the table, there's going to be 8 different camera angles. And at the end of the day, you've eaten a tremendous amount and wish the whole place burned down. It's
Oh, dear.
he's a nice character to play, I think.
Yeah. You've been influenced by Sam, your son. Sam was on here a few weeks ago. I gather with the birding. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Sam's
Well,
quite a bird watcher.
I mean, I know nothing about it, but he's very good. He's very good, and he teaches me. And he goes out very early in the morning and takes Laura to listen to some birds. And sometimes the birds haven't appeared, won't appear. It's
a nice morning.
But it's
anyway.
a nice morning. And
Does he ask Dad's opinion about anything? Or is Dad very careful not to give him?
Not much.
Not
no.
much.
He used to ask about the theatre a bit, but how he is.
He's on
He
his
doesn't
own
need
now.
it. He's on his own.
Accomplished actor, right?
Yeah.
Proud Dad?
Yes, very proud, because he's very good. He's very good.
A great switch off for you, a great hobby, which we saw on the box, you and Prue, doing canal journeys.
Oh, yes.
And a side of you that many people might not have known. What triggered it? I mean, because you were a canal boater before the series. I mean,
Yep.
How did you get into it?
An actress called Lynn Farley said, we're going to Europe for a fortnight, so would you like to use our narrowboat? I said, narrowboat? I didn't think, what's a narrowboat? And where is it? It's in Oxford, and you could take it out to Banbury. I thought, well, you can go from Oxford to Banbury by train, you know. Why don't you? It's for a fortnight. And actually, it was the best holiday we've ever had. We took the kids, who were sort of 7 and 5 at the time.
A long time ago, though. Yeah.
But they had a wonderful time doing the winding the things and lifting the bridges, and they were so tired that by 6 o'clock they were fast asleep. Open a bottle of wine and
Mum and Dad and parents' playtime.
Yeah.
It always struck me, it's sort of like seeing Britain by the back door, isn't it? It's so beautifully quiet.
Well, that fortnight has stuck with us, and so we've been doing it ever since.
And I've got to ask, how's Prue? How's she doing?
She's all right, yes. She has a bit of a serious memory problem, you know. It's meant we don't have the same kind of conversations that we used to have, which is sad for us both. But she enjoys life. She gets about. We go to the theatre. We go to concerts. We meet friends. And I'm very lucky, really. Very lucky.
Been lovely to talk to you. Send her our love.
Well, we'll do, certainly.
Lovely to talk to you. You'll be staying for a springtime beer. That's the most reward that we offer.
Oh, yeah, right, absolutely.
Fine, okay.
Yeah, good.